Welcome to Story Series of Avaya and Anaya, the Guardians of the Night. Episode 2, The Puzzle of the Midnight Maze. It all started with a whisper, not from a person, not from the wind, but from Avaya's bedroom slipper. Yes, you heard that right. Avaya blinked, then squinted at the red fuzzy slipper near her bed. She leaned close and heard it again. Maze awaits. She gasped. Did you just talk to me? The slipper said nothing, not even a squeak. Now most kids might run and hide under their blankets. But Avaya? She poked the slipper gently and whispered back, You got any more secrets, Fuzzy? Just then, her starlight badge, the tiny silver star pinned to her pajama top, began to glow faintly. Oh, it's you, she whispered to the badge. You're doing the whispering. She ran down the hall in her pajamas, badge sparkling like a nightlight. Anaya, she whisper-yelled. Her big sister was already awake, sitting cross-legged in bed with her nose buried in a book called Quantum Pudding, a Dessert Mystery. Avaya burst in. The maze is calling us. Anaya looked up, calm as always. You heard it too? She held up her badge. It was glowing too. Downstairs, they munched quietly on toast. Except Avaya's toast was weird. The buttery surface had a strange shape. Letters. She leaned closer. Maze awaits, it read. In jam. She held it up like a trophy. Look, the toast knows. Anaya raised an eyebrow. Maybe you used too much jelly again. But Avaya grinned. Nope, it's a sign. Then the kitchen clock struck midnight with a melodic ding. And whoosh! A book on the counter flipped open by itself. Pages flapped like wings, and right out of the center popped a glowing hologram of Captain Orion, their mysterious mentor. He adjusted his glowing cape and smiled. Guardians, the time has come for your next mission. Avaya nearly fell off her chair. Whoa, 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 you're in a cookbook? Orion chuckled. The Starlight Society library portal is open. Your challenge lies in the Midnight Maze. Seek it under the oldest book in your town's library. Remember? Only upside-down reading reveals the way. And just like that, poof, he vanished in a swirl of stars and toast crumbs. By nightfall, Avaya was ready. She had packed a backpack full of essentials. Banana, socks, in case of foot emergencies. Goggles, she didn't know why. Just in case. Anaya wore her orange lion onesie and carried her glowing compass. They tiptoed through the sleeping town, their badges leading the way like tiny flashlights. The library was closed, of course, but that didn't stop them. Anaya picked the lock with a paperclip. Avaya sang the Mission Impossible theme in whispers. Do-do-do-do-do-do, ow. She tripped over a gnome statue. Inside, the library was dark and quiet. But then, the books began to whisper. Faint words floated through the air. Turn the page. Shh. Chapter 12 was way better. The shelves shifted. One ladder scooted away on its own. Avaya's eyes widened. This place is alive. Suddenly, a stack of encyclopedias toppled and formed a staircase. Anaya narrowed her eyes. It's guiding us. They followed the fluttering pages until they reached a glowing shelf titled Ancient Nighttime Nonsense. Anaya pulled a dusty book off the shelf. It was titled Upside Down Reading for Right Side Up Thinking. She opened it. The pages were blank. Then Avaya grabbed it and flipped it upside down. The words shimmered. When moonlight strikes this very page, the floor below shall turn the stage. The ground beneath them glowed. Bookshelves shook. The rug rippled like water. Avaya squealed. Are we about to fall? Whoosh! They dropped through the floor, laughing, tumbling, and landing in a glowing, jelly-like tunnel. Avaya bounced. Boing! Anaya landed softly and stood, brushing herself off. This must be the Midnight Maze, she whispered. The walls were glowing purple. Paths shimmered ahead like shiny ribbons. Everything looked bendy, swirly, and just a little suspicious. Suddenly, a soft whirring noise echoed above them. A parachute deployed. Blip, the floating robot assistant, descended from the ceiling holding a juice box. Entry confirmed. Welcome to maze mode. Avaya clapped. Blip. You made it. Blip did a tiny mid-air somersault. The ground beneath them buzzed, and square platforms floated into place. Each had a glowing letter. Step only on the correct word, Blip said, or prepare to be bounced. Anaya read the puzzle aloud. Find the path to the word that solves the maze's first phrase. A dozen tiles floated before them. Solution, silly slippers, super sandwich silliness. Avaya giggled. Well, I choose silliness. She leapt onto the tile. It giggled, then bounced her up and back down safely. Correct. Blip blinked. This maze runs on imagination. Anaya smiled. Then we're going to do just fine. Together, the girls skipped across the silliest words they could find, giggling the whole way, until a large stone face appeared in the wall ahead and said, Riddle room, enter if you dare. Avaya squeaked. Yes, I love riddles, Anaya whispered. Then let's get ready to rumble. The stone face on the wall yawned, loudly. Another team of bright-eyed maze crawlers? Ugh, fine. Solve my riddle or prepare to be tickled. Tickled? Avaya said, bouncing with excitement. This is my kind of danger. The face groaned. Here it comes. I have many keys, but I open no locks. I have petals, but I grow no flowers. I make music, but I'm not a band. What am I? Avaya scratched her head. A kangaroo? Nope, said the face. But nice try. Wait, she grinned. A platypus. The wall coughed. Seriously? Anaya gently tapped her chin. A piano. The stone face blinked. Oh, yes, that's correct. The wall rumbled and slid aside. But before they could walk through, whoosh, a dozen feathers shot out from tiny holes. They tickled Avaya's ears, nose, and toes. She screamed, laughed. Not the feet. I regret everything. Blip hovered by, spinning gently. That was unnecessarily delightful. The next chamber was dark, until the walls lit up in shimmering pinks and purples. Avaya gasped. It's a hallway made of mirrors. No, said Anaya, tapping the ground with her slipper. Jelly. They both bounced slightly. Bowing, bowing, bowing. Gah. Suddenly the mirrors began bending. Their reflections stretched like spaghetti, then flipped upside down. Avaya stared at her reflection. Why do I look like a jelly bean wearing a wig? Anaya chuckled. You kinda always do. They bounced and flipped, but every time they tried to walk forward, their mirror selves walked the other way. How do we get out? Avaya asked, bouncing upside down. Blip blinked. Only one mirror is real. The rest are artistic nonsense. Avaya licked one. That's strawberry flavored. Anaya rolled her eyes. Please stop licking the maze. Then she noticed it. One mirror had no reflection at all. She walked toward it. When she reached out, her hand went through. Found it, she said, hopping in. Avaya followed. But the Jellybean version of me was kinda cute. The next hallway looked peaceful. Soft lights, a glowing floor, cute duck paintings, then squeak, honk, giggle. From around the corner rolled giant rubber ducks, squeaky, shiny, absolutely bonkers. Run, Anaya yelled. No, wait, quack back, shouted Avaya, cupping her hands to her mouth. Quack, quack, quack. The ducks blinked, then giggled louder. One duck bounced off the wall and rolled at them like a bowling ball. Blip zipped around. This is highly irregular. Avaya zigzagged through the quacking chaos. I bet they're ticklish, she yelled, tickling one with a feather from her pocket. It squeaked, giggled, and bounced away. Anaya spotted a big bubble pit near the far wall. Lure them in, she said. They duck-danced their way over. the rubber duckies chasing them in a bouncy stampede. One by one, the ducks slipped and plopped into the bubble pit, squeaking all the way down. "Crisis, hilariously averted," said Blip. Avaya panted. "That was the weirdest battle ever." "And probably not our last," Anaya said with a smile. The hallway ahead looked totally normal. Just one long stretch of smooth tiles with a glowing door at the end. "Ha! Easy peasy," said Avaya, skipping forward. She reached the door, turned the handle. Click! And found herself right back where she started. "Wait, what?" She was standing beside Anaya again, who hadn't even moved. Avaya blinked. "Did I just go in a circle, through a straight hallway?" Blip scanned the floor. "Warning, you are in a looping room. One wrong step resets the path." Avaya's hair started to frizz. I knew something was weird. My ponytail's been getting fluffier every time. Anaya looked at the floor tiles. There's a pattern. Some tiles had tiny animal shapes on them. Others were blank. She stepped onto a crab-shaped tile. Nothing happened. Then she stepped sideways. Click! The hallway shimmered. The glowing door got closer. "I think we have to move. Like crabs." Avaya crab walked sideways, clicking her fingers like claws. "Pinchy, pinch, pinch." She scuttled dramatically. "I am the crab queen." The hallway shimmered again, and this time it didn't reset. They reached the door and gave each other a sideways high five. "Walk weird, win weird," Avaya declared. The next room was pitch black, until a glowing chalkboard lit up in front of them. "Draw your escape," said a floating neon sign. Avaya's eyes sparkled. "Oh, I got this." She grabbed a glowing chalk stick and immediately drew a dinosaur, Audio wearing roller skates, holding a pizza. Anaya stared. "Seriously?" "It's a rollersaurus," Avaya declared proudly. Suddenly, the drawing shimmered, then sprang off the wall. The dinosaur skated in circles, tossing pepperoni slices like frisbees, but the door didn't open. Anaya quietly drew a simple golden key. The key floated up and clicked into a glowing door on the other side of the room. Click! The door creaked open. Avaya patted her Dinoskate's snout. "Sorry, buddy, you're a work of art." The rollersaurus skated into a glowing closet and disappeared with a wink. The next chamber was empty. No walls, no signs, no puzzles. Just silence. Blip hovered nervously. "I do not compute this level." Avaya spun in a slow circle. "Where's the challenge? Where's the GOO? The quacking? The jelly floors?" She flopped onto the ground. "This is the worst room ever." Anaya sat cross-legged, calmly. "This is the puzzle," she said. "We have to do nothing." Avaya stared. "Nothing?" "Yep, sit, be quiet, wait." "But I hate waiting. My toes are itchy. My brain is loud." Anaya whispered. "Maybe that's the point." Avaya huffed, crossed her arms, then sighed. She sat. She breathed. She counted ceiling stars. And after what felt like a million years, aka 62 seconds, ding. A soft chime echoed, and a glowing path appeared. They had passed the test by not doing anything. Avaya groaned. "That was so hard." Anaya grinned. "But you did it." "I want a snack and a parade," Avaya muttered. The new glowing path sparkled like it was made of stardust. "Whoa," Avaya whispered. "That looks important." Blip floated ahead with a cheerful beep. "This is the final chamber. Scanning for epicness. Confirmed." At the end of the path stood a smooth stone pedestal, glowing with soft golden light. Resting on top was a round, shimmering orb that pulsed gently, like a heartbeat made of stars. The girls stepped closer. Their starlight badges began to glow brightly, so brightly that even the maze walls sparkled in return. Suddenly, whoosh! A swirl of stars appeared, and in the middle of it stood Captain Orion, tall and glowing, with his midnight cloak flowing like a wave of galaxies. "Guardians Avaya and Anaya," he said, his voice calm and proud. "You have completed the maze of imagination." Avaya looked confused. "Wait, I thought it was called the Midnight Maze?" Captain Orion smiled. But the maze changes for everyone. For you, it became exactly what your minds made it. Fun, silly, and surprising." Anaya's eyes widened. "So, we built it?" "Not just built it," Orion said. "You solved it by staying curious, staying kind, and being just the right amount of ridiculous." Avaya beamed. "So, the giant rubber ducks were my fault?" Orion winked. "And also your triumph." He waved his hand, and 2 glowing tokens floated into the air. One for each sister. The tokens shimmered and gently floated into their hands. They looked like tiny stars, warm and glowing. "These are your starlight tokens," Orion said. "They light up when you do something brave, helpful, or extra wonderful. They are part of you now." Anaya and Avaya grinned and gave each other a high five. "I'm gonna make mine light up every single day," Avaya declared. "Me too," Anaya added softly. "But maybe fewer jelly floors next time?" Orion chuckled. "Your journey is just beginning." The maze slowly began to fade into glowing mist. "Time to go home, Guardians." And just like that, the sisters blinked and found themselves safely tucked into bed, their starlight tokens glowing softly on their nightstands. Outside their window, the stars twinkled like tiny winks from the maze itself. A note fluttered down from the ceiling and landed between them. It read, "Mission 2 complete. Prepare for what's next. The secret of the shadow. Sprinkles coming soon." Avaya yawned and smiled. "Best night ever." Anaya nodded sleepily. "Let's dream of the next one." Blip hummed softly from the corner, already powering down with a sleepy buzz. Their bedroom faded into quiet, and the stars outside sparkled just a little brighter. And that's the end of tonight's magical mission, brave dreamers. Avaya and Anaya showed us that being a guardian isn't about being perfect. It's about being brave, kind, and just a little bit silly. So snuggle in tight, close your eyes, and let your imagination take you on adventures of your own. Who knows what puzzles you might solve next? Good night, Guardians, and dream big.